Okay, pound Aussie pushing higher and higher and higher. So obviously no trade here. We're waiting for price to break these lows here, break these zones. It hasn't done it yet, so we'll just adjust these a little bit here. We'll look at a higher time frame. I'd be interested on how this monthly closes. So, but yeah, I do think this is going to eventually sell off, but it's just taking its sweet time. It's trickling a little bit higher and higher and higher. So we'll just readjust these here, no big deal. Move these up. Put the high of the month to 196. 188. And then yeah, just looking for these zones to break. And if they don't, they don't. Then there's no trade. It's all good. I mean, this is super bullish. It's way above the moving average. This is not necessarily a trade I would want to take regardless, even if it does break these zones. But it's just kind of the setup I have in mind. You can see this is actually taking place right now. If price breaks this zone, it'll probably go lower, but I don't really want that yet. I want price to break this area here. And you can see it kind of lines up perfect. Resisted, pulled back, finally broke, and now it's closed above it and held above this zone. So if price breaks this zone, then we're kind of looking for a short position. Possibly. It is super counter trend trading. I'm not saying I'm going to take it, but I would consider more and once price breaks this low here. By then, this moving average should be kind of caught up, and then we'll see how it kind of functions there. Yeah, I would be more interested, but this might be a longer term setup here. Like, you kind of, if you look on the higher time frames, I mean, this is obviously still super bullish. Like, I would not short this yet, but I just see steam dying off. You got this upper zone here. So you can literally see these wicks come into this zone. You can see it previously. So this one pulled back, and then boom, broke down below, rejected, and then these came up, and then even last month rejected. So, you know, you can see these candles are very weak. These monthly candles last month, you know, month of July, boom, came into the zone, heavy pullback. You know, on a monthly aspect, price does not close below, or sorry, does not close above, you know, 192. So, this is your 192 area right here. I'll actually mark this out, and I'll keep this in mind. So, your 192 area, price does not seem to close above it on the monthly. So granted, it is above it now, but this is pretty ugly. It's hard to see, but on a monthly aspect, price does not close above this. So tells me that it might want to come back. So yeah, I'm looking to short this eventually, but not yet. Definitely not yet. I need a lot of things to take place. So now I got a lot of zones drawn. This is really ugly. Let me clean this all up here. Clean up this big one here. Yeah, so we'll just keep this zone here. And then this is what we're looking forward to. And then obviously, so you got this little area of support and resistance up here. It's liquidity area here. Then once that breaks, it's probably down to here. And then by then, this moving average will be quite a bit closer, and then you're looking at just overall structure changing, possibly once that happens. But again, we got to wait for this zone to break, 190, 193-ish, 193.20. Let this zone break, and then we'll look for a short position. But until then, there's nothing. I'll keep these zones in place up here just to keep an eye on them. But, and I mean, price does like whole numbers, so there's a chance that 195 now is the highest, but we don't know that for sure. Oops, the highest close anyways. Price did go above 195, but it hasn't closed above it. So we'll just go like this. Put it at the top here. There we go. So we know that's our 195 area. We'll just see how what price does in this area now. Definitely not looking for no positions yet, but maybe soon. So maybe soon. This is our monthly range. It's about 800 pips, so it's a good monthly range if it decides to sell off and head lower. So I would never buy this for another 800 pips, but I would sell this because it's pretty, you know, it hasn't really pulled back much either. You got this huge segment here, and it's just never really pulled back, but you can see like the momentum is kind of dying off. You can see how much of an incline this was, and then once it got to here, it kind of just, well, it pulled back a little bit, and then, you know, it's kept going up, but it's at a much slower pace. So I do see this dying off, and like I said, guys, on the monthly, this does not close above 192. So doesn't mean it can't, but it hasn't been above 192 on the month since this candle here, March of 2020. So yeah, it's been 3.5 years since prices closed above 192 on the month. So we will see how this continues, but I would look for it to break lower and break this little zone here, and then possibly look for a short position. So that is my take on Pound Aussie. Definitely a big short. I'm feeling it relatively soon, but I'll keep you posted. We'll check back on this in a couple days maybe and just see what it's doing, you know, by the end of the week, see if anything's changed. So yeah, it's Pound Aussie.